come along and play with me, yeah. I've got a game I know you want to play all day. Let's get together, we can play. You brighten up my cloudy days, yeah. You always know the words to say, yeah. A friend indeed, you'll always be my pal. Right now, let's play a game, I'll show you how.
So Simran Singh here, and Tucky and I just filmed our first episode together, something that we are collaborating on, just deep discussions and conversations, and we had such a good time we decided to go ahead and do another one because we have so much to talk about, and we're in this perfect setting. It's a place of inspiration and relationship and dark and light and I don't know, it just seems to fit.
Color. Yeah. Color. And peace. Like it's quiet here.
She's been in the RV with my 2 kids. I know, it's like, okay, when's the moment of silence? When will it come? I know, it's like you try to go into the bathroom shower just to get a moment, and even that doesn't have a lock on it. Oh, it's hilarious.
It's great.
But we were talking about the shows, and it has been really interesting doing this Rebel Road show because it has evolved and changed along the way with different conversations that we've had along the way, and me explaining to people what those conversations of the universe mean and how they show up and why they show up and all of that kind of thing. And it's a show about really catalyzing people into their hearts to tap into that tugging of that dream that keeps pulling. You know, we all have it. We all have that dream sitting right here, and we are keeping it right here rather than putting it out there. And so this show is to just say, be free, be wild, be bold, don't just be the dreamer, but be the dream.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because I was in a mastermind group, and I love my mastermind group. I love everybody in there, and I was really having a great time. And as I was telling them goodbye, because I couldn't commit to staying on that call while I was on the Rebel Road, what I found myself saying was, because we were always, and we weren't in our minds, it wasn't a masculine, what's the plan, what's the goal. We'd gotten to a whole different place where we were saying, what do we want to play? How do we want to, and I really got that it was time to move on because I wasn't having to talk about it anymore. I actually was going to do it and to be it and to live it. And that felt so good. Yeah. It felt so good in here to finally be experiencing what I kept saying I wanted to play. And even though I kind of felt like I was doing that before.
Yeah. And I think that that's where a lot of people are. I think they're either at this place of they keep dreaming and dreaming and dreaming and never doing or being, or they're people that are at that place where they're like, I don't even know what my dream is. You know, how do I even discover what that is? I have no idea what I want to do. I have no idea what my purpose is. I want to know my life purpose. I probably get that question more than any question, whether on the Rebel Road or just separately emailed to me. People are just saying, but how do I even discover what that is? And as we were reading through some of the materials in the Golden Pathway, that the one line struck out at me, and we started having a discussion on it, and it was very clear that if you were in your shadow aspects of your sequence, of your pathway, of your blueprint, it's not even possible for you to know that dream, to even see that dream. And that it's required that we do our work.
You'll be blinded by your own denial, your own stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not for you to go back and say, okay, gosh, it's hopeless now, I can't do anything. That was not the purpose of that statement. Yeah. The purpose was to say, are you willing to do your work? Are you willing to dive in and see those shadows so that they can change and transform into dreams instead? Are you willing to evolve yourself by involving yourself?
I think I remember reading something that Richard wrote in one of his articles where he asked a series of questions. And he said, you know, are you in a relationship that really thrives, that feels good and empowers you? Are you in work that feels like it's fulfilling your purpose, that soothes your heart, makes your heart sing, that brings out the most passionate aspects of who you are? Is are your finances, are you feeling prosperous, in those money areas of your life, all areas. And so he just asked this series of questions and said, if you can't answer yes to all of those questions, then you simply have a glitch somewhere in the system. Nothing's wrong. It's not like you need to be fixed, but there's just a little glitch. And I've always said the way you do food is the way you do love, is the way you do money, the way you do sex is the way you do, it's all same, right?
Yeah.
And so if you can find one something that speaks to you, that allows you to transform that one aspect, then everything's going to unleash. And I think that's what the shadow does. It's like that thread that runs through all of those things. And this is a really beautiful system because it doesn't tell you have to go do anything. It's to me, it's the courage to look at myself. I can remember when I was a personal trainer and I was just discovering what my life purpose was. I did. I remember I would recite it because I would recite it. This was back in '96. My life purpose is to create relationships with people because I love people and I love that interaction. I love the engagement with people and empower them to take responsibility for their own health and well-being because that's what I was doing. Because when people would come to me when I was personal training, they never came for their body. They acted like they were coming for their body, but by the time they left,
Yeah.
I knew their whole life story. I knew everything that was going on. And I honestly think the fact that I was listening to them was really all they needed because I certainly wasn't there to give them any advice. And that was before the coaching. But I think we're all looking to be heard so that we can hear ourselves, which is something you always say. It's a matter of our hearing ourselves so that we can hear where we're stuck, so that we even know where it is that we want to go. But this golden pathway, these gene keys, this whole system that we're talking about has this beautiful capacity to communicate and hand you the aspects and the expressions of your shadow in a way. One of mine is vanity. One of yours is pride.
Not
and you can
us.
laugh about it. That's the other thing. You've got to laugh about this shit.
You do.
You've got to.
You do. If you take it too seriously and if you get so bogged down in your shadow and in all your dense emotions and don't realize that that's just part of the fun, you're missing the whole point. And then the whole purpose question, my take on life purpose is that we all have exactly the same life purpose.
Yeah, I heard you
There
say that
is
on the
only
stage.
one. You did hear me say it on the
did.
stage. You're getting a freebie because this is part of the stage show. But we all have one specific life purpose, and that is to continually experience. Just experience. Whatever is in our heart as the next whim, to dive fully into that and continue to be experiencing itself over and over again as we constantly transform and evolve. And the only way to be that experience that is an ever rising frequency is to keep diving inside and seeing where the shadow is and where the light is. Not judging it, not having to fix it, but understanding it. And then focusing on the areas that we want to raise up into.
And one thing that I think, it was a part of my life before, but I think, oh, by the way, little shameless promotion here. I wouldn't say self-promotion, but
We're
it's
color-coded
11-11.
too. Did you notice we did this?
My shirt says 11-11. You are not
I
on
am
a
not
journey.
the journey. I'm not on a journey. I am the journey.
On the back. But one thing that I was really clear about in my own way of teaching it is that if I paid attention to what showed up externally, it very clearly showed me what was going on internally. Yes. And you say it in your own way in your conversations with the universe, but that alone has been really helpful for me. And as I have picked up or re-picked up this golden pathway and I'm working with the gene keys, that in tandem, having that work along with that knowledge of the reflection of really paying attention to every single solitary thing that shows up and how I'm responding to it, how I choose to think about it, my attitude, has everything to do with what my life is going to be like. Like I can either sit in that RV, all the noise going on, and go, oh God, and so you're not control her. It's all a matter of
saying that I
no,
can
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I know.
Everything is perception.
It is.
Everything is perception. And
Or you could look at it how, which is the way you've been looking at it. As you see a 3-year-old screaming or a 12-year-old doing
well,
whatever they're
someone
doing.
drew an angel card for me not too long ago when I did a session. By the way, her name is Scotty Holloway, and she lives in Charleston, South Carolina, and she is amazing.
Amazing angel
Scotty, you're
intuitive.
amazing. But she drew one angel card, and it said, to nurture a child is to nurture yourself. And so I clearly get that my time on the RV with this 12-year-old, and I was, both of them, I can't say especially one over the other because they're so different, is nurturing that part of me that is still 3, that part of me that is still 12,
Yeah.
and re-engaging that part of me. I think that others shut down and that I shut down.
Yeah,
I don't know what that's got to do
that's
with
one of
our
the.
beginning topic.
Well, I know, but that's so key because I think a lot of people don't realize that what is showing on in their lives, and I talk about this in Conversations with the Universe, is that petri dish that we're in, that 3-year-old and 12-year-old, that truly is the focus for each woman that's on this journey in that bus. Those are the 2 ages where the most significant impact was made that we each need to go back and heal, simply because that's showing up in our lives. And those
Clap,
a
John.
clap. And those children are giving us that, plus also letting us see through their eyes. And that's where the healing and the transformation is going to come. But most of us just pass off what's showing up in front of us as, oh, this is just what it is. And instead of realizing it's all so much more. It's relationship. Just like nature, it's
It's
relationship.
fascinating.
happening.
It really is fascinating because there's 6 of us in the RV, but there's really only one of us in the room.
6 of us in the
I
RV
mean,
and
I
one
can
of us
tell. I can tell. My life is changing. Your life is changing. Naomi's. I can see it in Sage. I
Yeah.
can see it in Krish, and it's beautiful. But I think it takes saying yes. It takes having the courage to do something completely different. And I think probably every one of us except Krish have had to verbally make that commitment of yes, we're willing to do something. You said that, I don't know if it was yesterday or today, and I think it's so true that in this day and time, with all the things that are going on, because I do believe we are transformed humans. I do believe. I know I raised my hand and said, I want to come to this planet.
We are one.
I want to come to this planet and play. I want to be on the edge. I want to be on the vanguard of creating a new human being, evolving the brain, evolving the emotional soul. I don't really know I wanted to do that, and I have no idea where I was going with that because I jumped off my train.
It was because you killed the bug.
I was on a really good train. Where was I?
You were?
In the Petri dish. There's only one of us in the room. God, I lost my thought. It was so good.
It was so good.
Yeah.
It'll come back. It wasn't meant to be. It was meant to me for you to contemplate that
Yeah.
and to take that back with you. But more than anything, I want you to understand, if you are not clear on your life purpose that you think you have to have, that dream, if you don't know what it is in here that you really want to
It
do,
is not
if you
meant
don't
to be
even
struggled
know
with.
what brings you joy at this point, perhaps you are living so much from your shadow patterns that it is blinded to you. And do you even know what your shadow patterns are? Because most people probably aren't even aware of their shadows. They're not consciously aware of their shadows.
And
Because
that-
we have conscious shadows and unconscious shadows.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And they'll show up. They're going to show up most predominantly in relationship.
That's
It's a
why
star.
relationships are beautiful.
Yeah. Profound.
It's profound. We're going to leave you with that.
I know. I'm really upset. I've lost my train.
We'll bring it back to you in the next episode. It's why you will come back, because you want to know where she
Well,
was
when
going with that
I'll
train.
just have to rewatch this or something, and when I watch it, I'll go, that's what it was I wanted to say.
Yes, you will.
Because I think it was, probably profoundly filled with wisdom.
Of course.
There was no vanity there. There
Not-
was no vanity
Not a
there.
speck. Shall I hold up a mirror? In love, of love, with love and as love. I'm Simran Singh,
goodness.
with my bestest buddy, Tuck Self, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
A friend in need's a friend indeed, yeah. So come along and play with me, yeah. I've got a game I know you want to play all day. Let's get together, we can play. You brighten up my cloudy days, yeah. You always know the words to say, yeah. A friend indeed, you'll always be my pal. Right now, let's play a game, I'll show you how.